This conference will
commands
now
like
be recorded.
we went ahead and created a branch. We looked at how to resolve the merge conflicts that occur, right? And today we will have a look at how we can connect and interact and collaborate with the services that are available, like for example, GitHub or Bitbucket, GitLab, or any of these services. So let's move our attention towards that GitHub. So we'll connect. Um, we go to the GitHub account. Okay, you need to have an account. I'm just signed in as my account here. So I'll go to one of these projects like here, Java project. Let's go to repositories here. I'm going to create a new repository. Give it a name like we are working on some project Java. Let's say for example, we'll give it a name like Java. Um, you can keep it as public so that it's accessible by anybody on the internet, or you can make it as private. It's up to you, but private might be chargeable, like $7 I think per month or something. So for now, let's keep it as public. We're not going to initialize with any git ignore. There's an option like you can go with a git ignore file, like what kind of file you want to go with. Let's say for Java based application, you'll have some git ignore files, but it depends on whatever project you're using. You can add a ignore file, git ignore file. And same with the licensing, like based on the requirement, you can go and add the license file as required here. And also you can initialize with a readme file if you want to, and given the details like what this repository is all about, give in some description and commands as to how to use this repository. Okay, it's again optional. You can skip this if you want to. And let's go and create the repository.
Can we go back anytime and modify these changes? I mean, options?
Not really. Like once you create it, you can keep on adding the files. Let's say now the repository has been created, so you don't have the option to again go back and change it. The option you will have is to add the file like this. Like you can go with git add readme file and commit and push it to this repository. Okay, so this is the repository created now for you. There is no files in this as of now. So once you add the repository, see what this does is it'll add a readme file, license, and the git ignore file. Let's suppose you forget to add any of these, you still have an option to go and create it on your own. Okay, you can keep on adding to the files. Okay, you cannot directly add it from here, but I'll let you know the option. Like you cannot create a file here. There's no option to create a file here. What you can do is you can go to your project directory, initialize, add a readme file, commit it, and then you can push it to this particular repository. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. I was on mute and I
Uh,
said, okay,
all
sorry.
right. All right. Yeah. So, okay. Now what we'll do is we'll look at the option like how we can clone this repository. Okay. And then we will, okay, this is repository we have. Let's clone this repository, and basically we'll add it. Okay, with this command you can see git remote add origin. So this is the command we're going to use. Okay, let's use this command. Let's go to our project directory. All right, so let's run this command git remote add origin. So now if you go with the git remote -v, so you should be able to see that you have got both the fetch and the push options available now. Okay, so let's look at the branch you are there right now. So you're on the master branch. So you can have a look at this command like git push upload origin and master. Okay, so let's run this command. So you'll get an idea what happens later on. Let's go and push all the changes that you have on the project DevOps folder. I'm pushing it to the, so it'll ask for the username for the GitHub. So I'll enter the username. It'll ask for the password. I think okay, let me check again. That's it. So now you're able to see that all these files should be returned to the repository. So if I go and refresh this one now, you should be able to see all the files that we have written on my project folder are now available here. Simple as that. And this is on the master branch. Default, that's a master branch. Makes sense?
Viresh, in the past, I think I
Yeah,
did one master branch or something. I kept in the chat. It says like remote origin already exists. So now I actually created a new repository with the same project underscore Java, and it is giving me the fatal error. So, what is that like? We can't do it multiple times.
see origin, let's say you go and check with this command like git remote -v. If the origin is already pointing to like one of these, you cannot assign the origin again to some other URL, some other repository. Just you can change this name, like when you're adding the URL here, right? Instead of origin, give it a some other name. Then you'll be able to push your changes. When you're pushing, you can, instead of origin, you can give the name you have used here. You got
Um,
the point? Like, yeah. So whenever you're adding, what this means is it is an alias. Origin means you're adding this URL, and origin, whenever you're using origin, it means that you are pointing to this particular URL, right? Origin is pointing to this particular URL, and you're able, and what this means is you're able to fetch the files from this URL, and you're able to push the files to this URL. Just change this name whenever you're
mhm.
adding, and that's it. So whenever you push the changes, just use that name and the
Okay,
branch name. That should work.
okay. So whenever we
Yeah,
create a
that's
new repository, I have to change the default origin name to design name, something like that.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, you have to delete the. There should be an option like git remote. Let's look at the option. There should be an option to remove old, like I think, yeah, remove should be there. Remove origin so that you can again assign to a new URL. Yeah, even you can try that option also. So right now it
Okay.
might be assigned. Let's say you just go and check this remote v. If you're able to see that origin is already assigned to one particular URL, you can remove that URL and assign a new one, or you want to go with some other name also, it's all fine. There's no problem with that. Just go with origin, some other name, origin 1, 2, 3, anything. Doesn't matter there. But make sure that whenever you're fetching and pushing, you need to go with the same name. That means that from you're able you're trying to push all the changes to this URL from your master branch on your local. From your local master branch, you're pushing all. You're uploading everything to this particular URL, right? So that's what happened
Oh,
here. It's asked for the username, password, and
mhm.
then authentication initially failed, and then finally it went and uploaded everything to the master branch.
Um, I when I do that remote hyphen v, git remote hyphen v, I'm getting
Hmm.
two different links like fetch and push
Yeah,
every
that's
time.
correct.
Like
That's correct. No, that's correct.
no,
Fetch in the sense, yeah.
yeah, please answer. I mean, like I'm expecting the same. What is fetch and push?
See,
Two different
fetch in the
links.
sense, let's say there are some changes that happened on your master branch. Okay, let's say I go and add a README file now. Here's an option, right? I can add a README file now here. Okay. So README file, project Java. I'll go and commit this file. All right.
Okay.
So now the README file has been added here. Is that README file on your local machine now, right now? No, it's not there
Um.
because yeah. Now what you can do is you can do a git. There are options like okay, you can do two. You can run one command to get the details. Like one is git fetch. You can run, or you can do a git pull. Two commands are there. Manually, if you do a fetch, you need to do a merge, or if you're doing a pull automatically internally, it calls fetch and merge. Okay, I'll tell you what is the difference there. Let's go with the git fetch now.
Okay.
All right, now you should be able to see that file on your local. Is there any error there? Okay, let's do the git merge. The file is still not there, right? Let's do the git merge. Git merge master already up to date. What about the pull? Let's try with the pull command. Okay. So when you see you run the git pull command, automatically the README file is being fetched. Now the README file has been brought to your project directory. I don't know why the fetch and merge didn't work, but I think we were missing some command there. Merge, I should go with /origin /master, maybe something like that. Okay, because there are multiple branches on my local directory, right? So that didn't work. But git pull, when you run the git pull, automatically internally it calls fetch plus merge.
Okay.
Now what does fetch means? Fetch means you are getting the data from the server master to their origin. The origin is something you can think of. It's somewhere here. It's again abstract, like origin is something here, and from here you are It's like a two-way communication that's there. So if you come here and the origin, it's connecting to your GitHub URL. Okay, so two-way communication here. So what you can do in one way, okay, in this direction, okay, what we can do here is, okay, in this direction you are running Git push commands, right? So that the files are pushed to the GitHub URL. Okay, and also in the other direction you are getting the files from the GitHub. So for that you can either go with git fetch or git pull, which internally it will call the fetch plus merge. Now you might be wondering what is the merge here. Merge here means, so again this is in this direction, right, from the GitHub URL. Okay, git pull, what it does is it will get all the files from your GitHub URL, and internal is the fetch and merge. Merge, what happens is the files are still on the origin level, the abstract layer. You are, once you merge it, it will be merged to your local master. That's why you have to fetch the files. When you fetch the files, the latest files from the GitHub URL is brought up to the origin level, and from origin, when you merge it, it merges to the local master.
Okay.
Right, so that's how it works. Whenever you are pushing the files also, you are pushing from your origin to the GitHub URL, and when you want the new files, and it is a best practice that every day in the morning, like whenever you're working in a project, just do a git pull so that it will fetch all the new files that are available on the repository onto your local machine, and you can start working on those, right? Instead of if you just forget, maybe there will be some merge conflicts later on. So to avoid that, but it's better that you go with the git pull command so that you get the latest files from the repository and you can start working from there.
Okay.
Right. So that's the GitHub. Again, here you can go and create some pull requests. So pull request usually happens when you want to merge your code from one branch to other branch. Okay. So you can raise a new pull request. Right now we don't have any other branch. If you see, it'll ask to compare the changes. Like if you're having one more branch here, then you can create a pull request. Pull request is something like from your develop branch, you want to merge all your changes to your master branch. Then you'll raise a pull request, and it'll have multiple approvals there. It might be your supervisor or the architect who will review all the code changes are as per standards. If that is the case, then they'll go and approve it. Once it is approved, as a DevOps guy, you'll be able to see that the PR is raised. You'll have an option to merge. You click on the merge button, all the changes will be merged to the master branch. Okay, this is the activity that is major activity that will be done by the DevOps engineer. Okay, so you can go and let's see. What I'll do is I'll create one more branch here. Let's say develop branch. Okay, so if you can, what happened? Okay, create develop from master branch, right? So now you should be able to see two branches here. Now this is a develop branch. Um, let's go and add something to the README file. I'll go and edit this file. Project Java. And line 2, I'll say readme file, something like that. I'll just add this one and I'll commit the changes. All right. So I've added some lines here and I've committed the changes. Let's say I want to now raise a pull request. So I can do that. It's saying compare and pull request. You can
Videsh,
see
I'm
that
sorry.
now in the develop branch,
I'm sorry. Can
yeah,
you once
go ahead.
go back?
Yeah.
I mean, like from creating because of some issues, I was not able to see the screen.
All right. Okay. All right. So
I'm
let
sorry.
me go back to
I'm sorry,
project
guys.
Java. Hey, no problem. No problem. Okay. So what we have done here is at the develop branch, I went to the README file. In the README file, I modified the file. Right now I'm the master branch. Let me go to the develop branch. So in the develop branch, I went to the README file and added this particular line. Just I modified something and I committed it. So this is a commit ID, right? That's the change I've
Okay.
done. Now I want to merge these changes to the master branch because let's assume this is just a scenario where you have tested everything. It is just a one file, but in a real-time scenario, there might be multiple files and a developer has worked on those files. It is all tested and it's now tested up to user acceptance environment. Everything is ready and now you want to merge your code to the master branch. Okay, so for that you'll be going for the pull request. You click on the pull request and you can see that there's an option here, compare and pull request. Right, let's click on this compare and pull request. So what it is doing right now is saying able to merge. You're able to merge from develop to master, and this is the README file here. You can add some comments. Okay, this is the change I want to merge to master branch. All right, that's good. You can add some comments here. There will be some reviewers who will be reviewing this particular code, and you can assign this to yourself, label what project you are and what is the milestone. Is it phase 1, phase 2, what sprint it is? You can add all the details here. Okay, there are settings and you can add all the details here like this, project labels and everything, right? And then you go and click on the pull request. So either you can draft it or you can go ahead and create a pull request. All right, so now the pull request is ready and you can click on the merge pull request so that it will merge the changes to your master branch. Okay, so this is one of the pull requests that is still open. You have created the pull request, everything is done. Okay, it's good. Now you want to merge one commit into master from develop branch. It clearly tells this pull request what it is doing. You have done a change in readme file and that file you want to merge to the master branch. Simple as that. Okay, from develop to master you want to merge it. There is one commit that you want to merge. You can click on the commits to see what is the commit. This was a commit we have done. What is the file changed? This is the file that is changed, or what is the change that we have done also you can see here. All right, so going back to pull request again. All right, let me click. So you'll see all the requests here. Whatever, if you just click on the pull request, all the requests can be seen here. I want to click on this. All right, now everything is good. I want to go and merge this request. Just confirm, merge. That has been merged to master branch. So what it is saying, pull request successfully merged and is closed. So now if I go to the project Java, you'll see there is no pull requests here. And if I go to the master branch README file, I should be able to see that particular line here. Make sense?
Yes.
So you need not worry about this. All these things will be taken care by the developer. Only like pull request, everything will be raised by the developer. Only thing you will be interested in is the merge aspect. So the pull request will be raised by the developer. It will be assigned to the developer, and it will be reviewed by some of their peers or supervisors or the architects, and it will come to your queue to merge it. And during merge, if you get any conflicts, only then you will be talking to the developers and getting it resolved. Okay, so that part of the
Mm.
work will be done by the DevOps guys. All right, so that's one thing. And there are other things like settings. If you go to the settings option here, um, you can add like let's say branches. Like you can manage the branches. There are some rules. You can add some rules as to how this branch should be there, and default branch. What are the actions you can take on the develop branch? You can add some rules here like that. Require pull request reviews before merging. Many options are there. You can add it here and manage access. Okay. In the manage access, you can configure who can collaborate and contribute to this particular repository, right? So what will happen is, let's say a new team is being formed with the developers. There are 10 developers and they want to access this particular project. So you can go and add their details here and they'll get the read access to this repository. They'll not be able to delete or do anything in the sense like they cannot delete the branch. They will have a restricted access. See, so that you can manage. So manage access. So invite a collaborator. You can provide their yeah, email address and then select as a collaborator. So that user will be invited to collaborate and then contribute to this particular repository. So you can add all the developers details here and give them the necessary access. Okay.
Okay. We can't add
And there are
ourselves as
some,
a duplicate user. I mean, with
yeah,
the
we
same
can also
account.
add, yeah, we can add ourselves as well. So as for now, there will be, let's say, if I go and add myself here, what will happen? It's saying could not find.
Yeah, it said the same to me.
Yeah, it says could not find. So I don't have an account. Like maybe, yeah, like this. If you can see, there are multiple users, so I can just select from here and I can make them as a collaborator to my project, something like that. I cannot add myself because I'm already there. I can invite others from this drop-down list. Maybe if I just start typing, then it'll be there. Like,
Okay, so only existing other users can only be added, apart from like
yeah,
we
yeah,
can't duplicate
exactly.
ourselves.
Exactly. There will be some. See, this is GitHub, right? So in our case, we are using Bitbucket, wherein there will be one administrator who will be providing you the access, who will be adding you as an administrator. so that you can provide access to other developers or other people in your team. Okay, so right now I am the admin for this particular I'm logged in, right? So I'm the admin for this repository, right? So I can give access to others here. Similarly, what will happen is that entire GitHub or Bitbucket will be owned by some administrators in your organization, and they will add as you as an administrator. Only then you can come and provide access to others.
Okay.
So first you should be added as an administrator. For that you can raise some request to get the admin access to this GitHub or Bitbucket. So once you get that, you will become an admin, and then you can provide access to your particular team members.
Okay.
Right? So that's nothing to worry there. So you, as a DevOps guy, you'll be getting an access. So you can request an access for an admin. Once you get the access, then you can manage the repositories. You can say who can collaborate and what type of access they'll be having there. All right. So I'm not getting into more details here in the GitHub because what happens is some of the organizations they might be using GitLab, Bitbucket, and the settings and the options might vary here. But in general, this is what you'll be doing as a DevOps guy, like providing the access and then managing the repositories, pull requests, merge, and things like that. So those things will all be common, right? So the common things is what I'm just telling here, but it might vary based on what type of services they're using. So either Bitbucket, GitLab, anything. So based on that, slightly the options might vary there. Okay. Okay. Any other questions on this one? Let's say I want to clone this project. So there's an option here. I can just click on this clone option and then go back here. Let's clear this. I think. I'll create one more directory. CD, sorry, nkdir the ROG project. Just give a name as a project. So I'll go to the project directory. Now I can go and clone this. So right now there's been nothing in my directory. So if I just go here, just a blank directory. There's nothing here. So I can go with the git clone command and then clone this entire project onto my local machine, project Java. And you can just go and check the git log one line. So this git is not there. I can go with the git init. Okay, now if I git log one line. All right, so it's saying okay. So I need to go to this directory here. cd proj Java. Okay, .git is there, and now if I run the git log one line, you should be able to see all the history that is there available till this point of time. And you can start working on this. If there is any change you want to make, you can start working, and then you can collaborate and push your changes, get your changes, and work with the repository. Okay, so that's how you can clone the repository and you can start working on your local machine. So the advantage here is you get all the history here. So you need not worry, whatever changes you want to make, you can make it and you can upload. And frequently the best practice is used to go with a git pull every day so that any new changes that are available on the repository, on the URL, GitHub URL or Bitbucket, whatever URL, you'll get all the changes and you can work remotely, right? So that's the option there. So Git clone we have seen, Git merge we have seen, fetch, we are able to upload the files. These are all the things we have seen there. Okay, and also we have had a look at the Git remote, add origin. This also we have seen. Origin is just an alias. Also we have seen. Just alias. It can be anything. Just origin is the recommended name, but you can add any name here. That doesn't matter. Just an alias name for the URL. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I think that's the end of the Git. So what we've learned so far, just a quick recap. So we went through initializing the Git in the project directory. We went to the Git status. We went to Git add. Then we committed. We have this Git log one line to check all the commits. We can check the difference between the commits. We can remove, add the files, delete the files. You can go with the Git reset, which is very important, like soft, mixed, and the hard reset that we saw here. And we went with the Git branching. We created the branches. We can delete the branch. We can rename the branch. And we also saw how to go with the merge conflicts. And finally, we went with the integrating or collaborating with the online services like GitHub, how to clone the directory, how to push, upload the files, how to download the files, right? And there's one command that's really useful. I think that is, yeah, this one, git log graph one line. I guess this one is pretty useful. Let me clear this. And okay, it should not be, if I go with, okay, if I run that command here, so you should be able to see that decorate. I think you should be using this decorate all. This makes more sense. Yeah. So if you use this command, you should be able to see that, okay, you added this commit, this commit, this commit, and you this diversion here, right, is because you added you went with the feature branch here, right? You went with the feature branch, and finally at this commit you have merged back to your master branch. See all these dots, black dots is the master branch. You you diverted, you created one more branch here, let's say feature branch. You added some files there, and finally you merge it back to your master branch. So this gives you a like pictorial representation of how your branch is working. How the basically at what point you created a branch, what are the files, what are the commits you have done, and finally at what point you're merged back to your master branch, right? So this might make more sense if I just go with the git log. Let's see what happens. It will give more detailed explanation there, right? So this is the commit ID, who committed, what when it was committed, and things like that, right? It'll give more a detailed explanation here. Okay, so this is a pretty useful command. You can refer to git log graph one line decorate all, right? So this will be sometimes helpful to look at how the branches are created and what happened. Look at the history, what happened there. All right, so that's the end of the Git. So in tomorrow's session, we will we'll have a look at we'll get started with Jenkins, right?
Right.
Right. So any questions till this point? Just go back and practice all this, go through the recordings, and try to just practice all these commands. Should be okay. Yeah, it should be ready for like it should be good enough to know work with Git if anytime you get an option to. These commands are pretty basic, branching and all you need to know. Main important is merge conflicts and how you collaborate with the online services like this git push, fetch, merge, and just try this out and let me know if you have any questions. We'll take that up. Okay. All right.
Not about this. I just like to know. I just gonna send Bhumesh the resume. Can you please check it?
Sure, Vikas. I'll have a look at it. I'll check that and probably once I'm done with my comments, we can discuss after our session. Okay, we'll have a look at that maybe.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thanks everybody for joining. We'll talk tomorrow then.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.